Hi everyone, Devlog3. So today, talk about what I did this week in developing my game. Um, like I said in the last one, just doing a whole lot of asset creation this week, and I was able to make two completed character portraits for Luca and Marco. I talk about that more in the video I uploaded yesterday. But just to show you, I'll open those up. So here's Marco, and we've got some others. You can see how like I want it to be, you know, if he's feeling happy, his shape of his mouth will change. Now that I've done the base of the portrait, it'll be easier to implement. And same with Luca. And at the moment, I'm working on a third character I haven't talked about. That's, oh, everyone's here. That's Redmond. And his skin looks a bit pasty, but that's only because I was working on him last night and my computer screen goes like yellow when it's late at night. So I kind of mess with the hues a bit. But yeah, this is the character portrait I'm working on at the moment because he is a prominent character, especially in the beginning of the game. So once I finish him, I'll go and do his 3D model, and then I can finally get started on cutscenes, which is probably the what I'll be talking about the most in technical detail today. But before that, like I also want to look at a 3D model. This is one of Luca. Um, I'm not so happy with the pants, but we'll see why that's not so much of a big deal. So this is just a model. This isn't rendered or anything. I mean, this isn't rigged up or anything. I can move parts of his body like this. But if I go into Marco, say probably not. Execution of Python script. I don't know what that is. I'll just allow that. Who knows what that is? Okay, so this model is actually all rigged up. Um, so I can do stuff. Well, let's make it not X-ray. How are we gonna do that? Okay. Um, yeah, so I should be able to just move his head and other parts of his body move with it. So, and maybe like his hand. There's a nice articulation in his arm and stuff like this. And this is just with like, I mean, if you do it extreme, you can see stuff starts to mess up, but like, when is this gonna happen? Yeah, and this is just done with Rigify's basic model, and I'm actually pretty happy with how it's gone. Like, move it. Yeah, so with this, I'll be able to make animations to put in cutscenes, and I just got to do this with Luca and also Redmond, and then make some animations, and then we can actually start making some nice cutscenes instead of what I have right now, which I'm going to show you. So I'll save that. Um, so we're in the main file of the game. I'm just going to click start. Okay, so this is like what is meant to be an opening cutscene, or like the start, like of what I would like the opening cutscene to be. Okay, so stuff in curly brackets represents stuff I haven't animated yet. This is the first scene. I just have this in the background to tell me that the scene's actually changing as part of debugging. Because what we have here, this is part of a scene called intro. Oh my god, I have so many scenes. Cutscenes, duh. Okay. So this is just, I mean, I'll probably organize this a bit better. But this is just calling some dialogue and connecting to some signals that'll tell the game controller when it's done with the cutscene, or telling it, getting connection from the actual dialogue file to know when to change the, I'm calling them beats because I don't want to call them scenes because everything will start getting confusing. And it's fairly dynamic, like it adds +1 and then it pulls, dynamically um, scenes based on, I don't know what to call it, but the percentage sign changes depending on the value of beat ID, which increases every time you call next beat through this, right? Next story beat. Okay, and this is, I probably need to start drawing what this looks like in a bit more of two-dimensional way. But Dialogue Manager, so far it's been great. It's made by another Australian called Nathan Hode, who has his own game on Steam, has his own YouTube channel. Um, and yeah, I think it's a great tool. And because within the dialogue you can execute commands or execute methods or whatever you call it. Execute mutations. I don't know all the terminology. But at the end of it, I just admit a signal to the signal bus, auto load. Okay, I want the next beat. And once we get to the last beat, God, this one. Okay, this one says, okay, we're finished now, and we'll see what that does. Okay, first scene, Riverside early morning. Oh, and I'll have to draw environments as well. In Blender, or yeah, I guess in Blender. I might just use assets for that for now because I mean pre-made assets because yeah, I've done so much asset creation. I'm kind of forgetting how my code works. Anyway, Goddess, why won't you let me drink? Did I do something wrong? And he collapses, closes his eyes, and then we go into the next scene. Two men working along the bank. One is we're looking at a book. So here's Redmond. He's asking, what are you working on? We have Marco is nice and colored now. Redmond hasn't been added, or at least it's colored model. So they find the boy, they say he's not moving. Then we have a third scene where they're inside a tavern. And we're introduced to another character called Esmeralda. She tells the two men that he's dehydrated, the boy is. Marco quite logically says, was at a river, how could he be dehydrated? And then we get sort of like another interruption, and that's, Marco has to make a delivery, and so this gives a hint that like, oh, Marco's what, he makes deliveries? Is he like a courier or something? And we're introduced to more of Marco's personality versus Redmond, the latter of which is more like agreeable. So here we have like a crappy like tutorial level that I just threw together using CSG polygon extruded from a path. And there's no collision on this because I'm pretty much gonna scrap it entirely. Like the callouts are from my other map. But this was mainly just to test whether I could load new tracks nicely from within the code. And this actually um, was able to flag an issue I had with how my checkpoint manager calls the checkpoints. I just had a hard-coded like string to tell um, my code where to load checkpoint information from, and yeah, obviously that wasn't working, so I needed to fix that because it was breaking everything. But now checkpoints load a bit more dynamically, and I don't have that issue anymore. Okay, and should be able to get to the finish line now. Alright, and yeah, upgrades. Return to the tavern, and we've got some rendered 3D models to represent the characters. Obviously, this is meant to be Redmond, but I haven't done his 3D model yet. And although Marco's here, I haven't posed him because I haven't started working on animations yet. But if we talk to him, you know, his portrait's there again, right? And there's Luca's portrait. So obviously this isn't part of this isn't the continuation of the narrative from the intro, like, because these two wouldn't be here, right, where Luca is. But if I close it and then I open it up again, it resumes from oh, I clicked on the wrong one, right? It just resumes from that point instead of going through the intro again. And so that's me playing with like flags in the story that the game reads um, to tell to be able to tell where the player is in the story, where they should be at that point in time. Uh, One other thing perhaps is um, talk about version control briefly. So it's important to have somewhere where you like back up your code, and because like you know something might corrupt, and if something corrupts, it might break literally everything in your code base. So it's good to upload at least your code into something like Git, and I mean everyone uses Git because like the creator is a man possessed, and he made the greatest version control software out there. And so yeah, it's got the history of all my versions, and there's some comments I could probably use some work. But in this way, if I complete destroy my code, I can always roll back and use something. And I need to implement version control for my art because Git has a limit on the files it can um it has an upload limit. So I need to use something to store versions of my art because some of that I imagine could be quite voluminous in terms of data. But other than that, this one's just going to be a short one. Just wanted to show off where I'm at in terms of character asset creation. I'm still working on that, but by next week, I'm hoping that I'll have at least idle animations going, perhaps walk animations. I can't imagine walk animations would be that hard to implement. So I'd like to have, yeah, walk animations done by next week, at least for Marco and Luca. Um, Beyond that, oh, probably environment creation. I probably need to look up a tutorial or two on how to create 3D environments in Godot, uh, because it would be nice to at least make the interior of the tavern look appealing. And beyond that, in terms of the 3D environment for tracks, I've been looking at that a little bit. Apparently, what they do in things like Mario Kart is they have a track and they pull the whole track into Blender and they build the track around, but they build the environment around the track within Blender. And then you can throw the whole thing back into your game engine. And they did that for the Art of Rally, coincidentally, which is also about rally racing. So yeah, I'm still I've still been working on this like at least 4 hours a day. It's just that, you know, making art, making characters from scratch is quite time consuming. It's taken me like, at least a day to draw the character, color the character, model the character, and texture the character, and rig the character. Like that would have taken 2 days just for Marco. So the fact that I've almost rigged two full characters and made their full portrait, I'd say there's pretty good progress. And later stage, we can add emotions through, like I was showing, and via Alpaca for Marco and Luca. So I mean, if I like select everything except the line art and then like copy paste it, this is not gonna work, by the way. Yeah. And then I like move it over. Yes, it's all like clipped. I was using clipping mask, so it doesn't really line up. But yeah, so I'll be able to do that and change the few bits and bobs. But for the most part, like this would be pretty easy. But it's just I want him to also be expressive with his gestures. So if he's surprised or something, maybe he's well maybe not surprised, but like angry or something, his hands will come up here. Anyway, that's about that for this week. Um, and yeah, next week we'll look at animations, making the cutscenes look a bit more presentable. Thanks for watching.